This is how we do it. This is how we do it. La, 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 la. Alright. This is how we do it. It's Friday night, and I feel alright. Party's here on the west side. Okay, so Friday is significant. The west side could be significant. Alright. This is just fucking really funny. Stop. I'm gonna cleanse the energy first. But like the messages I'm already getting from like, cause I have like a collage deck that I've been working on, just to use for fun or like for this, and I think I did about 25 cards so far, which isn't that many, but when they go together, and then the song I'm like, okay, I'm getting what's going on here. Okay, so we have the two oracles we're gonna start with, and our two main things where I'm already channeling a bunch of things, so. Alright, that helped me calm down a little. Okay. So, basically, this has to do, okay, so Friday, I'm just gonna get into it. Friday, typically a party day, correct? You may be going out, but also the west side, when I think of the west side, I think of New York, which is where I'm from, and I used to work on the west side for a lot, and I used to go to high school over there, so I used to work at the west side for a lot. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of my energy. It was a lot of my fucking time. It was a lot of, any time I've spent over there is like both nostalgic and like terror, probably. Anyway, this could resonate with you. So, also, hi, I'm Claire. I kind of wanted to do an intro for this video, but I don't normally. I just like getting into whatever the fuck's going on. But I'm a channeler. I'm gonna rewrite my description at some point, because I haven't been on here in a long time. But I'm a channeler. I'm clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience. There's another one, I think. Anyway, I also interpret dreams. I read tarot. I read life, I read everything, basically, but I also have a frequency that I listen to that is still my voice. It's not another voice or anything. The only time I've ever heard another voice that's not mine is, like, in a dream state. That doesn't happen, so, like, there's a difference. I've studied psychology to an extent, not like in school, but like just for fun or like to heal. So sometimes I'll go into a lot of symbolism and a lot of stuff like that. I don't know why I am doing an intro for this video, because I haven't for my last two, so maybe I'll have more like new people watching this at some point. But that's a short description of who I am. I kind of came on here with my older sister, and she's moved her tarot channel around, but she basically had a lot of issues with people assuming her age. I'm 27, okay? I'm 27. I know what I look like. I'm an artist, so I just don't give a fuck. Like, that's simply put, okay? I like what I do for a living at this point. I support myself. When I started my tarot channel, I originally was living with my parents, and thankfully that's not the case anymore. They would interrupt my readings all the fucking time. So I consider myself a veteran to an extent, but nobody needs to know who the fuck I am. This is a mentality also. So whatever the reason, the introduction at this point is part of the reading, right? So, I also, just to mention, I also don't really show the cards or what I'm doing. I just tell you what the fuck's going on, okay? And, like, I don't need to give you an explanation of what the hell is going on in my brain. You just need to know what you need to know in these readings. And I'm not going to sit here and also give you a narrative unless that's the reading. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what I'm getting, then that's a narrative. And most of my narratives are fucking ridiculous. Not like, oh, so-and-so is getting out of jail and so-and-so tried to kill your baby mama. Because and you know what? No shade on any of those. Because I watch those and they're amazing. But they're not necessarily healthy for all audiences. Sometimes I even get caught up in that shit and I'll be like, so-and-so trying to kill me. And it's a fucking... like, just discernment, okay? Discernment. This is part of the energy right now. So we just passed a new moon. Now we're in Libra season. In my first reading for from being back, so the last two, I said I was waiting for Sagittarius season, and I was like, Claire, I like rewatched it because I don't remember what the fuck I say in these readings. I rewatched it and I was like, Sagittarius season isn't for like 2 more seasons, Claire. I was like, you gotta get through Scorpio season? And like, then when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, of course I fucking skipped Scorpio season. Not that I have anything against Scorpios. I'm a Scorpio rising. But like, Scorpio season is either like, there's just things that need to end and it feels good, or it's just things that you did not want to end at all. It's just like, psh. And you're just like, fuck. Like, that's Scorpio season to me. But it is a season of magic and sex and lust specifically, I would say, as opposed to sex. But death and endings and funerals and the dead. But also being very close to the dead. It's a very spiritual... okay, so yes, I get it. So they're basically saying, like, you need to prepare. You can't just skip out on what's about to happen here. This is a time of preparation. The reason I wanted to do this reading was because I know the new moon just passed, and I was like, okay, well, what am I supposed to be doing right now? Because a lot of changes have happened in my life, and I know this is collective because I've seen the shift just in multiple people's lives and in my life, like physically in my life, not on the internet. I need to make the distinction. The distinction is really important. So, coming back to, okay. Preparation. How do these correlate? Because I already have a message here, and now I'm getting another message, and I'm like, okay, how are they connected? This is a time of celebration, okay? So this is a time of celebration for spirituals in general, especially with Scorpio season coming up. Libra season is a lot about taking care of yourself, taking care of relationships, really bonding, getting together, forming relationships so that you can get through the winter with these relationships and like form alliances. This also could have to do with romance and stuff like that, and just like, coupling up, or like even grouping up for work too, not just romance and stuff like that, but like maybe finding new jobs, finding new areas of study with other people that you like, and growing in those spaces. Just people getting together, people trying to find their common space, not like their home, because that's also being worked on separately, but like your space where you feel comfortable with the people that you're with and you're actually growing something. So it's also about productivity. These are really important focuses because you're going to need these resources when we get to Scorpio season. Because Scorpio season, spirits can be real fucking loud. Like, really as loud as possible. My journey with this, like this cycle of my life, like doing, like being, acknowledging the moon cycles, or acknowledging like astrology more, acknowledging that I can hear things, like just those different phases of spirituality. For some people are going to be awakening in Scorpio season. So maybe you found this later. Maybe you're finding this video later and you're starting to get, I'm going to write this down. You're starting to get more sensitive. So sensitivity, or a lot of people around you are. This is a warning is what I'm getting to an extent. Like there's going to be, oh, that's so interesting. Okay, so there's going to be an ascension, a mass ascension is what I'm getting. This is not something I would normally channel, but I did just have a dream about somebody that I used to know. Not somebody I dated, but somebody I used to know, like was dating someone I was friends with that I'm not even friends with anymore. But it's just like, so I don't even know either of them anymore. But like this is an also part of it, okay? So there's gonna be a bunch of people that like you used to know that are gonna be on some other level of ascension, and you're not even gonna believe you're not even gonna believe like what's coming out of their mouths, because that's kind of what the dream I was having is like this person was saying all this really enlightened things, and I had never in my life would have thought that this person that shit would come out of their mouth, like if that makes sense. Like, but I was like, what happened to you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what happened to you that you got from point A to point B? Because I remember when you were at point A. So, but then there's also people who have no idea what the fuck's going on. Like, they're going through an ascension period, and they don't know what the fuck to do. Like, they don't know what to do with their gift. They don't know that a gift is happening. So, like, for example, when I started hearing things, it was more of like, when I started hearing myself, really, in different ways, it was like I understood consciously that there was no, I'm really sharing this. There was no backing behind my thought. Like, I started hearing something over and over again. And then I was like, wait, I'm not actively doing that. Like, I'm not actively being like, I'm gonna have a good day today. Like, you know when you set a mantra in your mind, like, you program that shit. This was something that was just coming in, like, filtering in. And you know what it reminded me of? What the fuck? It reminded me, like, I'm like, so when I was young, wow. Is this why I'm like this? This is what I do in general. Like, just go from some other energy to some other fucking energy. When I was younger, I had a PC, right? I had a Dell. So if the Dell was on and the internet was on, if a cop car passed in the street in the middle of the night, sometimes I'd hear their radio on my computer speakers. Like, it would be like, as they drove away. Like, so that's kind of like what it feels like when you're getting thoughts passed through. That's different. I was hearing someone else. I was hearing someone else's thoughts that was around me. When I'm channeling, it's like all senses are released. Like, I am seeing things. I'm kind of like, sometimes I feel things. I haven't been feeling things as much. Thankfully, it's probably a protection thing. Okay, bring it back. Let's bring it back somewhere, guys. Because how did we get on this tangent of like, okay, so the overall topic here is ascension. And Scorpio season is specifically significant because you're either going to see people around you kind of trying to figure themselves out in terms of their own ascension. And you're also there's going to be some people that come out of the woodwork, literally. Woodwork. I'm also relating woodwork to root work. There's some energetic exchange between bodies, literally. That's the best way I could explain that, because I could explain that in a really fucked up way. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, so now I'm getting into an energy of thinking about how you want to change things. Because that's literally why I'm here now. And that's also why I was talking about other readers on here, is because I look at the narrative-based readers that are talking about storylines. They're talking about really important stuff, but at the same time, like, it's not broad enough or specific enough to actually mean something, if that makes sense. Which it probably doesn't. Like, it's an energy of wanting to fix, wanting to be different, authenticity. So this level of ascension also has to do with authenticity. It's not just sensitivity, but it is, as some people don't realize that. Some people are listening to their inner voice, but there's also been a fog cleared away. Like, energetically, among a mass collective, like a large amount of people. This could honestly have to do with, the pandemic. Because there was literally people who were having brain fog for a long time. So there might be a period of time that we're entering into where more people are clear-headed again, is what I'm getting. I normally wouldn't say that either. They're remembering also, like, a lot of things. So there's of, like, the past. So this is definitely, they're seeing. People's third eyes are opening. This also has to do with the drug industry. And, like, things like microdosing and mushrooms and stuff like that. This also has to do with people's amount of detachment. This is getting really deep. This has to do with people's detachments. The things that they use to detach also, so like from reality, but then coming back to reality. And then some people have unknowingly been detached because they've been ill. When they're coming back and their third eye is opening and they're realizing what they saw when they were detached and what is actually in front of them are not that different from each other, and it's triggering an ascension. Okay. I mean, fever dreams, things you might have been seeing while you were sick, that happened to me. But this is like a bunch of people saw things like this. And now it's matching up to something that's happening in the physical, and this could be years later that they're remembering, or that they're experiencing it, and they're like, why the fuck does this feel familiar? Getting back to the beginning of this reading, where I was singing fucking, what is it, Montel Jordan? I'm really bad with names. So, like, laugh at me all you want if that's, like, close to his name but not his name. Like, this is how we do it. This is how we do it. Yeah, this is how we do it. This is also about teaching. This is how we do it. This is how I do it. This is how I function. There's also been thousands. I was going to say hundreds, but then someone was like, no, it's thousands. Thousands of years of oppression for shit like this, especially for someone like me. And I'm sitting here telling you, like, keep that in mind. I'm sitting here putting myself at risk, telling you how I function. And I'm sitting here, and then I'm sitting here like, looty doody doo, yeah, sometimes I hear things. And then I'm like, why? Why am I doing this right now? But I'm being told to do it, and I listen. Which means I'm probably protected enough to say this now. And I wasn't before. 'Cause fuck, no. Like, if you come for me, like, you don't know what the fuck you're coming for. Just, like, spirit-wise, not even anybody watching, you know what I mean? Some of you don't. Some of you are figuring that out. I'm seeing a sacred heart inside a bottle or inside a case. And it looks like, oh no, now I'm seeing a dragon. There's a lot, I see a lot in clouds, and I have like an open window here, this is really nice to do a reading with the clouds. There's a chariot of dragons. What do dragons represent? Fire, strength, a beast, uncontrollability, but like immense power. A wave too. It looks like a wave. And now I'm seeing a swan, which could also represent love and angels, and I'm hearing war. I did pull 6 of Wands earlier. Okay, thank you. So they're bringing, I was like, why are we not back at the west side? Because I keep veering off. Because this has to do with, this is how we do it, veering off. Okay, so the west side in New York, what I was saying is the west side of New York City is predominantly like gay clubs. And I went to high school in that area and grew up over there, honestly. Like, I would spend a lot of time on the west side. In childhood and adulthood, really. What is childhood, though? So most of my childhood, restrained. This could also have to do with this energy having to be restrained for a certain amount of time, and then someone's releasing their shadow, because that's what I'm about to explain really is. So the only reason I'm discussing this is because of this card, which is, I made this. Okay, but the energy is like about magic, and this is a statue. I don't know of who, but like it's like a statue kind of stylized like the statue of David, but with 2 figures. I don't know what the actual piece of art is. I just made the card. But a lot of this energy has to do with money being exchanged for bodies to be exchanged, which doesn't necessarily have to be negative. I don't think that sex work is negative. But it's there, and it is magic. And some people are aware of this and some people aren't. The people that aren't aware of it are basically victims to the people that do know when they're doing this. And then we also have It's Top Secret with this anime bitch from Nana. I don't remember what her actual name is because I have to reread this. This also has to do with sexuality heavily, whether you're gay, like bisexual, queer, LGBTQ part of the LGBTQ community. So this is also about, I think that wow, that's interesting. So they're basically saying like this is a time where a lot of that energy is merging and it's uncomfortable. I can see that. It's uncomfortable within me. like, it's uncomfortable within you, it's uncomfortable within the community, because spirituality, this is also exactly what I'm talking about with some of the readers I'm watching when they're talking about gender, or they're talking about their religion, but like they're also like not condemning things like divination and stuff like that. So we're reaching a point where there's people in certain, like, they're religious. There's this difference between being religious and being spiritual. They can be all encompassing sometimes, but they're separate. They're separate things for a reason, because you can be either or you can be both. This is about spirituality and sexuality merging and being respectful of one another. Especially, like, how do I even, it's just so much. I don't even want to say, like, it's also just uncomfortable for me to say. It's uncomfortable. Like, it's uncomfortable to realize that, like, why is it uncomfortable? It's uncomfortable for some people, but why? Because it has to do with fear. It has to do with why, and then I'm being asked, like, why does the top secret card have to do with this? The secret card has to do with people, hiding. I mean, we would be talking about hiding this whole time. Wishes be hiding, and gay people be hiding. And it's all encompassing. Also. Okay. I'm also laughing because, like, this is not the way I would normally describe something, you know? But then also there's those days where I get up and I'm like, oh, I want to talk about this, but I don't. I'll end up doing a reading and talking about it and channeling it out. And it'll be in the most, like, scattered manner possible. But, like, that's how it'll get done, as opposed to me, you know, sitting down and writing something in an intelligent manner. This is maybe something you're also having an issue with. There's things that you know you have to say or explain, because you're the only one that's seeing what the fuck's going on. Getting back to what I was saying is, like, there's an energy right now of individuality, of freedom, of spirituality, of sexuality. Woo. It's also because of the planets. Let's not forget about that. There's so many planets in retrograde, and we're not going to start moving out of them until, I think, October or the end of the year, from what I remember. 28 could be significant, because I just saw that on there. I haven't even pulled fucking cards. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? I was also thinking about doing, like, a few signs, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just do that, okay? I'll break it down. I'll start with Scorpio. I'll do a couple other fucking videos, but, like, and I want to do charms, but, like, whoa, that was so much fucking information. Okay, I love you guys. If you please leave a comment, because, like, what the hell? Like, that was so much.